Your Excellency, Ambassador Wu, highly admired colleague also from the United Nations system as the former Under-Secretary General for the UN Department for Economic and Social Affairs. Excellencies present, my colleagues from the UN family, colleagues from CCG, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'm pleased to welcome you all here for this very ideal setting for this event. First, I wish to express my heartfelt thanks to the Center for China Globalization for partnering with the United Nations family in China to co-host this afternoon's high-level symposium. We in the UN are indebted to CCG for its very generous support on the organization of the symposium to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the restoration of China's lawful seat to the United Nations. 2021 is genuinely a critical year for China and the world. It marks the centenary of the Chinese Communist Party, the successful establishment of a moderately prosperous Xiaokang society, and the 50th anniversary of the restoration of the lawful seat of the People's Republic of China to the United Nations. For the past 50 years, we have witnessed the miraculous economic and social transformation that have taken place in this country. During this time, China has lifted over 750 million people out of absolute poverty, strengthened investment in education and public health to create a happier and a healthier workforce, become the world's factory, and multiplied its GDP from a per capita of a mere $180 in 1979 to $12,000 today. The United Nations system in China has been a trusted development partner of China, with the first UN offices established in China back in 1979. In the 4 decades that following that year, the role of the UN in China has shifted from a traditional donor to that of a partner, providing technical expertise and support, both within and beyond its national boundaries, including in its activities under the framework of South-South cooperation. As we celebrate the great progress achieved, we also need to focus on the challenges ahead. There is no doubt that humanity has entered a decisive decade for our world. The COVID-19 pandemic has taken the lives of about 5 million people and significantly disrupted the global economy. The impact of COVID-19 has an even larger impact on the vulnerable population, with as many as 150 million people brought back to extreme poverty by 2021. To realize the goals set in the 2030 agenda, targeted and innovative solutions are needed for rapid, sustainable recovery. With the world struggling to recover from the impact of the pandemic, another systemic crisis is imminent. The time remaining for human beings to reverse climate change is running out. As the United Nations Secretary General has noted, this is a code red for humanity and has struck that we need to act fast to avoid the point of no return. Faced with global uncertainties, China has a number of challenges in achieving its ambitious development goals. China needs to bridge the gap between the rural and the urban areas, boost up its social security systems to care for the vulnerable and leave no one behind. Moreover, China needs to transition to a new development paradigm, a green, equitable, sustainable growth model that aims to achieve common prosperity for all people. We are pleased to see that China is preparing to move fast to address these challenges, and these have been included in its 14th five-year plan. We in the United Nations stand ready to work with the government and the people of China to realize these ambitious plans, such as rural revitalization, peaking carbon emissions by 2030, and achieving carbon neutrality by 2060. Ladies and gentlemen, let us reflect on the following key questions. How will the future collaboration between the United Nations and China look like? How can the UN be fit for purpose in China to deliver with greater impact for the next 50 years. I can talk about my experience when I worked in Africa on developing partnerships between the UN, the government of Kenya, businesses including technology companies like Huawei from China, Safaricom from Kenya, as well as Merck from the United States, Philips from the Netherlands, GlaxoSmithKline from the UK. Together, we were successfully able to reduce the high burden of maternal mortality in some of the most high burden counties in Kenya. Most recently, Huawei, the UN, and the government of Kenya have implemented telemedicine projects which are now being scaled up nationwide, and these projects can be replicated globally. In this decade of action to realize the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, the UN has more than ever positioned itself to build partnerships with the private sector, non-profit organizations, to unlock cutting-edge solutions to global challenges like shared prosperity and climate change. Today, we are honored to have leading experts from the Chinese government, the UN country team in China, to discuss the future collaboration between the UN and China on precisely these two areas, inequality and climate change. Both challenges are complex and multifaceted. The kind of intellectual exchanges that we are today promoting together with our co-host, CCG, is essential to prepare us to adapt and act fast to form effective, impactful partnerships around key development issues. In conclusion, let me reiterate that the UN will continue to march in lockstep with the people of China to defend multilateral cooperation and contribute towards global governance. As President Xi Jinping said in the 76th UN General Assembly, the baton of history has been passed to our generation, and we must make the right choice, a choice worthy of people's trust of our times, unquote. The UN in China is here to work with you, side by side, united for a better world. I wish to thank you all most sincerely for having made the time to join us today. 谢谢。